ground to grain, field to table, it's an endless cycle of sweat and soil. Farming feeds the world, a $3 trillion backbone of human existence, and it comes with distinct challenges, including weather, markets, and the unrelenting schedule that nature sets. These pressures shape our daily reality in the fields, and these pressures have caused an increasing number of farmers to seek retirement.
There's been times that I've wanted to quit. I've been worn out. I'm to the end of things. I'm the end of myself.
Through 6 decades of farming, we faced our share of setbacks, including hail destroying entire crops, early snow flattening our grain, and rain turning good hay into compost.
So we have to be ready. That's what we're doing all season long, is preparing for the harvest. So there's steps taken in November and December. Combines are in the shop. They're being looked over with a fine-tooth comb.
Though farming runs deep in our veins, here at Bos Hay Grain, these challenges have driven us towards something deeper, a purpose that can't be measured in yields or profits. And yet, watching these machines thunder to life each season still makes every farmer here grin like a little kid on Christmas morning.
When we pull the machines out, I see the guys pulling on the road together. Yeah, there's an excitement there. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the work that we've done. And just like, let's go do this. Let's go do this, team. We can do this.
In the heart of Montana's Gallatin Valley, a harvest story is about to unfold. For the first time, we're inviting you inside Bos Hay Grain, where generations of farming knowledge meet modern agriculture. Join us as we share what it takes to bring in harvest under the big sky.
Farming looks a bit different around the globe, but for us, it takes place in different stages. Starting with planting, then we go to irrigation, haying, harvest, and then we reset. Each stage brings its own challenges, but harvest is where everything converges. With everything happening simultaneously, we face our most demanding season. Starting around August, we get about 6 to 8 weeks of good weather to get our crop in. That means we need to average about 160 acres a day. That is assuming everything goes right, but farming rarely follows assumptions. Between weather, machinery, and nature's timing, we've learned to master what we can control while surrendering what we can't. This scale of an operation needs more than just equipment. It requires a dedicated team, and here lies Craig's true vision.
We've had small boys from probably the age of 8 to older men up to 80 years old working in the business. So everything in between there, 8 to 80. That is one of the great things about what we do, is being able to have that diversity. There's zeal in the young man, and there's wisdom in the older men. How do we mesh those? How do we gain maturity because of all of those valuable characteristic traits that we're going to be able to work towards as we work with other men? One of the most exciting things for me, I think, in our business is getting to see the generations and encouraging those men to be teachable. So the man who's 80 to still be teachable, and the young boy who's 8 to be teachable, to bring about that culture of humility in the workplace.
Your business is only as good as the people that you have on board, and that's important.
Hey guys, Josh and I were able to get the combine back up and running, thankfully after all day here. Also, Chloe is on her way with dinner. She'll be here in a few minutes. Why don't we find our opportunity to gather up at the north end of the field? She'll be coming into the east approach, and we'll get to eat. Sounds good.
Deep in Harvest's marathon, when operators and equipment alike are showing their exhaustion, there's a daily pause that lifts our spirits. The arrival of a hot meal. In this, we find that our conversations with each other tend to refuel us just as much as the food.
Hopefully I don't have any chocolate for dinner. Okay, so pretty much my job for harvest in this grain cart is to connect the combines
Do copy, Josh.
connect the combines to the trucks. I pretty much stay in the field, and we got 3 combines that I have to run to. So right now I am filling a semi. We can fit about 2 combines worth in each semi. In the end, we can get over 35,000 pounds per semi. This field that we're on is about 150 acres. It's yielding about 100 bushels per acre, so it's keeping me busy. It's a little more exciting though. I'd rather be busy than bored. So right here, I'm unloading a combine. You can see my scale, I'm empty. So I know he's 3/4 full or full when his beacon lights start turning on. And that tells me that I should probably go get him pretty soon, or else he's gonna have to stop.
That screen glitching you see, that's our cart camera acting up. The signal is gone, and without it, we're unloading blind. We better go check those wires because they probably shook loose from bouncing through the field.
Our camera keeps coming undone, so we're gonna put an end to that hopefully and tape it together. As soon as we get in the cab, I'll try to turn it back on.
Oh, it didn't work. Almost worked.
It was working. As soon as you guys try to look, it breaks, so.
The cart sits higher than the cab, and the camera above becomes your eyes. This is a crucial solution that prevents costly overflow and allows precise unloading, especially on the move. Though Maverick seems to have his own ideas about precision.
This is the stuff that goes with being with Maverick all day. He's doing it because his wife's here. He thinks he's all cool. Can't get anything done these days. Well, if that doesn't work, I don't know what will.
Maverick, are you on a heading?
I am.
Okay, I don't know why mine. I ended up had to nudge 36 inches the whole way down through there.
I was wondering, I was looking right in line with this line and it doesn't look super straight.
Halfway through harvest means doubled maintenance challenges. Today is no exception. The 8120's been our problem child most of the day, with engine failure. Andrew's cart camera has failed, and now Kevin's GPS is acting up. We know these problems come with the territory, unwelcome and frustrating, but inevitable. At the same time, these setbacks are pivotal moments, not just for the operation, but because our response to them shapes who we become.
I am replacing some broken sections and a broken guard. You know, if you don't take care of things, one problem will lead to another. It just escalates from there, you know, causing a further problem. You know, just like here, this is kind of simple where it starts as far as the crop entering, but you know, if you get a plug or a wad here, soon that goes into the machine, and then you know, that's gonna cause, you know, possibly something to slip, so something to break, or a wad going into the machine too much, you know, to where eventually you can plug the rotor, which is not fun to have to deal with that.
In a sense, that's a really small detail when you look at the larger picture of the entire business. If we don't deal with those small things, just like in our life, if we don't deal with the small things, they become much larger, and then brokenness enters in. We don't want to let that small little problem create a firestorm and burn things down.
Every harvest morning writes its own stories, shaped by juggling other jobs such as hay cutting, irrigation, maintenance, and whatever challenges equipment brings. This morning finds Kevin and Brenton in their familiar dance around the combines.
Cleaning windows.
They seem to stay decent all day long until night and the wind stops moving, and then all of a sudden.
Peyton's dad, Kevin, returned for another harvest this season, quietly bringing years of wisdom to the crew. This morning, he's working shoulder to shoulder with Brenton, who, even as the manager of the crew, loves to be a part of the action, in the dirt and getting grease on his hands.
Greasing the drive shaft for the grain cart. It has a couple U-joints.
Managing an operation of this scale fills Brenton's mind with endless details every day. But that doesn't keep him from the hands-on work. Even in the thick of it, he's always asking, how can we do this better?
So it's been 3 hours this morning. So yeah, after combines are serviced, we will typically have a truck or two, maybe some grain in the grain cart left over from the night before. And so that gets unloaded. We're about ready to put combines into transport and head out to the next field. So a pretty typical morning routine there. So today, the focus is on our hay cutting. There's predicted rain tonight to some extent, and then a better chance of rain tomorrow. So it's a lighter day on the harvest front. The barley's not a great field, and so we'll see how it goes. It's a little different than our normal routine of running 2 combines, 2 trucks with 1 truck driver. So the truck driver should be busy, so he won't get bored. I don't even know. If we cut for 4, 5, 6 weeks, 20 to 30 times per combine, and times 3. So if we're lucky, maybe we do it 100 times.
Taking headers off isn't something all farmers deal with, but here in the Gallatin Valley, it's part of our daily routine. Our fields stretch across 20 miles, and these narrow roads weren't built for modern equipment. Add in heavy traffic and drivers who aren't sure how to handle a combine on the road. Well, let's just say moving between fields takes some patience and practice.
I have found the strategy of taking the center or center left of the road most of the time is fairly effective, in that it makes it pretty clear that a car cannot get by you, and encourages them to slow down and find an approach or something to get out of the way. Otherwise, if you give them enough that they think they're going to squeeze through, they hardly slow down, and then that gets a little more tight. Just park on the road, and I will get set up and cut some area out.
Arriving on site, sometimes we have to drive right through standing crop to make our staging area. It's not the best way to start, but machines need turning room and trucks need loading space.
Rain in the forecast has divided our crew between the last barley field and urgent hay operations. But some tasks can't wait, even during the harvest push. Moving irrigation lines remains one of our most demanding manual jobs, and the contrast between this hot field work and our air-conditioned equipment operations tends to build character quickly.
I am Carson, and my role is, well, I don't think anybody has much of a defined role at the farm except for Brenton because he's the manager and Craig because he's the owner. But my role is to irrigate and fix things and drive tractor. And right now I'm moving wheel lines. Wheel line is a bunch of pipe with wheels on it connected to a mover. And the mover's got a motor on it. It waters the field. It's a giant sprinkler. And Brian needs to get to work. Get to work, Brian. Make our wheel lines work better. We've been doing a lot of 12-hour sets recently to try to get our new seed alfalfa watered pretty quick. So things constantly change during harvest. We get to adapt to the situation and often get redirected, and I think Brenton feels really bad redirecting us sometimes because he's constantly doing it. And sometimes we get cranky about it, but we try to be flexible.
On our farm, we're blessed to have irrigation systems, farming's answer to unpredictable weather. And while they demand constant attention and maintenance, the ability to control water distribution actually directly impacts our bottom line. Using these systems means better product and, most of the time, higher yields. A trade-off that makes the extra work worthwhile.
No, I think it's easy sometimes to be in the thick of things and see everybody else doing jobs that you think are important, and I think it would be easy to be discontented and to think that what you're doing is less important than what everybody else is doing. But then at the same time, we get to work heartily unto the Lord. It's good to not take that for granted and to appreciate the work that we get to do regardless of what it is. I'm done moving lines, so I'm gonna go stack some hay.
When we're trying to hire a young man, we probably try to scare them away a little bit because I want to know that they want to be here. I want to know that you're ready to come and put in the time, put in the hard work. So the harvest includes people. We bring in people that might not be on our full-time crew. A lot of our neighbors come and help us get the harvest up. So we're calling lots of different people to come in and help during that time.
It takes a crew of 4 guys in the balers, 4 balers. Their window of opportunity to do it based on the weather. I think we bale anywhere from 40 to 50 acres an hour with 4 machines if there's no trouble.
We're looking for quality, quantity, and price. And if a storm comes through, we may lose quantity, we may lose quality, and that's going to affect our price. If we're not ready, if we're drinking coffee when we should have been out there harvesting, we've shot ourselves in the foot.
Here at Bos Hay Grain, excellence is always what we're striving for. But sometimes the best teacher is when things don't go right.
Yeah, you and I knew you're supposed to swap. You're gonna swap hitters.
It sounds like classes in session. Let's go see what we're dealing with.
That's been up where the guard mounts.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent still there. And then there's a bar that apparently goes between this. It was way bent up. Kevin jumped on it, bent it down. It's in between the top and bottom. It's about a foot back.
The center of the header hit a rock that caused too much damage for field repair. Lucky for us, we've still got a spare header in storage. And with our crew stretched thin and our priorities getting the crop in, it's just gonna have to wait till after harvest to fix.
Yeah, there's so many things that, like a rock you can't see. One of the things we'll do is, if we go out by hand and we pick up rocks in the fields, comparing it to the farm I grew up on, there are a lot of measures, especially on a larger scale farm. You have to do that pretty intentionally and seriously to be able to keep on top of things.
Maverick, keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it.
Oh, okay.
Most scenarios, we like to repair the one that broke immediately without just doing it later on. But with the rainstorm coming, we're in kind of a crunch to get things done, and we're so close to being done that we just figured it'd be better to grab the extra header and do it as quick as we can so we can beat the rain and not get rained out.
We still got one more field left. Kevin, hope it's not lost yet.
Well, back in the truck. I was in a truck, jumped to a combine because one was down, and now I'm back in the truck. So it's pretty, you just kind of go with the flow, go where you're told, and it will probably change a couple times before you actually get there.
With the combine up and Maverick hauling grain, Peyton takes the controls, and right on cue, mechanical troubles find their newest operator.
That scraper stopped working. Oh my goodness.
What just happened?
Well, it's a good, I don't know yet. We'll find out. Something either came loose or busted. That or I ate a rock.
We'll be fine here.
Oh. So I must have sucked a rock in somehow. It's very interesting. I don't think I've ever had this problem quite before.
That was easy.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy fix. Hopefully I didn't burn something up.
Just as Peyton gets going, it's cut short again by another unsettling sound.
He is always... Looking for... That's just dirt. Looking for a rock. Trying to make sure I didn't bring one in.
It looks as if a big dirt clod damaged one of our knives. So while Peyton repairs his header, the rest of the crew arrives, pushing toward the final 20 acres north.
Hey.
The end of harvest is in sight. We can see it.
Yep.
But between the incoming storm and the team's mounting fatigue,
Right.
what should be a moment of triumph teeters on the edge of disaster.
Oh, I didn't see that truck. Thank you for backing up. That could have been really bad really quickly. I don't think I've been in and out of the combine so much, or have almost backed into somebody before.
A few minutes of rainfall from the storm's edge catches our final passes. It doesn't prevent us from finishing, and despite our brush with disaster, here we are, bringing the last of our wheat and barley.
Kevin, when you unload on a truck, you could take the cart home to the shop. It has finished its duties for the year.
Okay, sounds good.
Now that wheat and barley are done, we're finishing up our canola crop. Canola yields are usually smaller. They're about 25% of what our grain crops yield. So we scaled down to one combine and 2 trucks. We added this crop to our rotation 3 years ago, and it's proven to be a great decision.
Oh, what is next? I got, call it 20 some rows of canola left, and harvest of the grains is finished. And what we do next after this is sometimes tempting to say we're done, let's take a break. However, there's a fair amount of work still ahead of us in preparation for the next year, and it's starting right across the road where Brian is over there heavy harrowing behind the combine here. That task is a next year forward-looking task that he's completing there. And that's more of what we got ahead of us the next few weeks is field prep for next year. And so how do you stay inspired or motivated to keep going, I think it's kind of the drive for always figuring out how to do something better. I think lastly is just the enjoyment of work. It's one thing that we were created to do. Encourages us to come to work the next day, enjoy that day as we do the work together. and look forward to doing it again.
Running business is messy. Working with people is messy. It's hard. It's also good because God has made us relational beings. He's created us to be in relationship with one another. There's a lot of effort that goes into that to maintain relationship, to maintain unity, and to be heading in the same direction and not be splintered.
You know, to think Bos Hay Grain is where it is today, I would never have dreamt that.
As another harvest draws to a close, the fields fall silent. Like these grounds that must die to bring new life, we too must surrender to grow. The same soil that transforms a seed into grain mirrors how God transforms hearts, breaking them open to plant truth deep within. As winter settles in, these fields may appear lifeless, but beneath the frozen ground, next season's promise awaits. The same is true for the men we work alongside. Every hardship prepares the soil of their hearts for something greater. And our prayer is that their time here helps shape them into faithful fathers, humble husbands, and servant leaders who plant the same seeds in generations to come. Just like the crops we tend, the most valuable things take time and intentional care. That is our true legacy.